Yo, what's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about all of my experiences with Call of Duty games that are on PS4 and PS5. Now, I have got a long list of Call of Duty games because I've played basically every single one. There's one technically that I didn't play on PlayStation. I played it on Xbox 360, so it's not going to be on this list, and that's going to be the first one, Call of Duty Ghosts. But I loved that game and played it a bunch, but it's not on here. But all these other games, I have my PlayStation hours played stats for you. So we'll be talking about which of these games I played the most and then which one in the end I liked the best. And this is going to be with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, 2022's release included all the way back to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which I believe came out 2013 or 2014. I think it was 2014 because Ghost came out 2013. And I just didn't get it. I already had bought the game and I didn't buy it again for PS4. Alright, so the first game on this list is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I have played a total of 113 hours of this game, and let me just say that it's been so long that I vaguely remember it. I mean, as much as I played, you'd think I'd vividly, but I've played so many Call of Duties, they kind of all like blend together. But Advanced Warfare, I remember it for having wall running, but it didn't have jetpacks. So it was just wall running added in, and just like typical Modern Warfare feel to it. So it was a whole lot of fucking fun, let's just say that. There was a high skill, ceiling on that game, so you could get really good at it, and that's probably why I played it for over 100 hours. And that was 8 years ago that I last played that game. It's kind of crazy. So next on the list is Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and this is probably going to shock people because this is one of the most loved Call of Duty games of all, but I only played 11 hours of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. And the thing is, I didn't even do that until 4 years ago, which was 3 years after the game came out. I got it for free with PlayStation Plus. And the reason I didn't play much of this was not because it was bad. Not at all. This was just a year where I was not playing video games hardly at all. And Call of Duty definitely wasn't on my radar because I was just busy with other things. And that was a year that I'm now making up for. Next on the list is a remastered version of a classic Call of Duty game, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This is Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which was a pre-order bonus for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And the thing about Infinite Warfare is that I didn't buy it at launch. So I didn't get Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered to play it as soon as everyone else got it. I played it 3 years ago whenever I got it for free with PlayStation Plus. And I just wasn't into it because it just felt so old compared to the newest games at that time. But I still did play a total of 1 hour of that. Now, if I had my hours for Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, it would be like way higher than any of these games on this list today. Guaranteed 500 to 1,000 hours. I mean, maybe more than that. I don't know. I just know I play that for like 2 or 3 years with my friends every day for long hours. So I definitely have a lot of time on that one. But next on the list, I mentioned this one a second ago, is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which is one of my favorite games on this list. I won't say it's my favorite, but I did love it. And from why I didn't play it at launch, I got in it late, and I had so much content at that point. There were so many good maps, so many cool weapons. And that was one of the last Call of Duty games that I remember gave you a lot of cool weapons without having to fucking pay COD points. And you would get loot boxes just by playing, and eventually you would get a bunch of cool shit. And I had so much cool shit. And anytime I went back to that game, I always be like, wow, this is the game where I have the coolest weapons. And they also had wall running and jetpacks in that one. I forgot to mention earlier on Black Ops 3, they had jetpack. No, they just had wall running. And maybe they had jetpacks? I don't remember. Fuck. But there's gonna be some things I forget because I haven't played some of these games in so long. Back to Infinite Warfare, that's what I always dreamed of, was like Infinite Warfare. Basically, they didn't make it exactly how I envisioned, because I envisioned like a lot of like space, kind of like Destiny mixed with Call of Duty. But Infinite Warfare was still a lot of fun. I'd say some of the most memorable maps that I can remember being colorful, super creative. I really loved that game. I played it for a total of 133 hours, and that's with me not even having it for the first 6 months that it was out. And I last played that 4 months ago. Next on the list is Call of Duty World War II. This is just a great Call of Duty game. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. It is the most played game on my list today. However, it is not my favorite. I would say it makes it in the top 3 just because obviously I played it so much I loved it, and it brought back the memories of the original Call of Duty games that I had first played, like Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, and then Call of Duty 5, World at War. It wasn't called Call of Duty 5, it was just called Call of Duty World at War, but it was the 5th. And there's now Vanguard, one of the new ones we'll talk about here in a bit. There's so many World War II games in the Call of Duty series because that was what it was originally known for. And this World War II, I would say, is my favorite iteration of any World War II Call of Duty, except for World at War. It is tied with World at War. I'd say if not just because I had the memories back then, I think it's because World at War had tanks and stuff. It was cool. It was different. But World War II, that I feel like you could also get cool weapons in that because I remember having like a Leprechaun PPSH in that I loved. I mean, I love old classic COD, like World War II style shit. It was great. I played that game so fucking much. It was, like I said, a total of 203 hours. Last played that 3 years ago. And next on the list is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. There are so many Black Ops games, and they can get confusing, but then if you played them and loved them like I did, they don't get confusing because you remember each one very vividly. Black Ops tends to be my favorite games in the series, usually. Now, Black Ops 4, again, I keep wanting to say I'll put it in my top 3, top 5. I can't really say because each one of these games I love so much, and I'm not breaking it down. I'm just going to tell you my ultimate favorite at the end. But Black Ops 4 is definitely up there. I love this one so much. It had your operators, and they all had like special abilities. So like you could grab slam with one guy, or there's all sorts of things. You would get a specific weapon with one person that was ultra powerful, and everyone had special abilities, so it was always chaotic, and the gunplay in that was so good, always good in Black Ops games. And I played the shit out of that, but it's not my most played. I did play for 167 hours though, and that was last played 10 months ago actually. I guess I just randomly decided to go back and play that for a little bit, but not for very long. But that was a really good game. And then next on the list is the last game that I played on PS4. The ones after that will be PS5 games that I played that are also available on PS4, but technically I didn't play that version. So this PS4 game that I'm talking about is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This was 2019's game, I believe. And as much as I'd like to say I didn't like it that much, I played it so fucking much that I had to like it. My God. I played for 188 hours. And I last played that a year ago. And honestly, I don't miss it. They brought in to where you could like not crouch, but mount on stuff and like look around the edges of doors and shit. And I didn't really like that. It was very slow paced. I mean, like I said, I prefer Black Ops games and the gunplay in those. There's a lot of good Modern Warfare games too, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019 is just not one of my favorites when I look back in my mind. But I did play the shit out of it. I guess that was the year I was just playing a lot of games, and Call of Duty was one of those games. Okay, next on this list, the first PS5 Call of Duty game that I ever played. For one, before I tell you what this game is, you probably already know if you know COD, but the reason that these PS5 games have been so good that I can never go back and play the PS4 games is simply for two reasons. The DualSense with adaptive triggers and haptic feedback, and the 120 hertz refresh rate. I have become a new player in Call of Duty. I can see again. Like, it's ultra vision. You can have such good reaction time because of the high refresh rate. I know PC people have probably had that for a while, but me as a console player, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was my first experience with it. And let's just say that I'm still playing that damn game. It is my favorite game on this list. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is such a damn good Call of Duty. My God, like, the campaign was cool. I don't really care about the campaign. I'm mainly talking about multiplayer. And zombies, that's a thing too. I'm not even thinking of that. I'm only thinking of the multiplayer. When I spend all these hours on these games, it's multiplayer hours. Maybe 5 to 10 on the campaign and a couple on zombies. But everything else is all, multiplayer, like I said. But with Black Ops Cold War, it is my favorite, and I'm still playing it. But my total hours played on it are only 82. And the reason for that is when I first got this PS5, there were so many cool games besides Call of Duty that felt insane because of the DualSense. And I was not going to spend all of my time just playing Call of Duty, just like I have for 20 fucking years. No, I had to take some time off from Cold War. And I loved it. I just couldn't play it year round. I played it the shit out of it. Most of these hours were in the first 2 months it was out. But here lately, I've just been hopping in, and I prefer it over the two newest ones. I mean, Cold War, the aesthetic in it, the gunplay, there's so many good maps. They've got cool weapons. I mean, they got it all, really, in Black Ops Cold War. And I feel like a lot of people were like me, and they were distracted by all these other new next-gen games coming out on the PS5, Xbox Series X. All these games were coming out, and Call of Duty was just Call of Duty. It sure sold, I'm sure, that year. But the hardcore people, some of them were just absent for a little bit. And like I said, this is number one on my list, and I think it's because it's the first PS5 Call of Duty that I played for one, but it's just better than the other two. And I have a feeling that this is going to actually be more fun than Modern Warfare 3, which just got announced. I don't know why they're making another Modern Warfare right after 2. Oh, wait, it's because this used to be DLC, and they fucking decided to release it as a full-price game again. It's bullshit. Anyways, next game on this list, Call of Duty Vanguard. This game, I'm just going to be honest, it's my least favorite game on this list. I fucking hated Vanguard. I mean, I basically took 2 years off of COD because I didn't like Vanguard. I only played it for 61 hours, and that was 9 months ago. I tried to play it one last time before Modern Warfare 2 came out, and I was just like, nah, Vanguard is not for me. It's definitely my least favorite World War II Call of Duty they've ever made. It's my least favorite one I ever played on PlayStation. So I'm just telling you now, Vanguard was a bad Call of Duty. There may not be such a thing in some people's minds, but to me, the game was bad. I know I played it for 61 hours, so it wasn't absolutely horrible, but it was not my favorite, not even close. I was so glad to be done with Vanguard. When I put that down, I was like, this feels good. But next on the list, the last game I'm going to talk about today. I'm sure I'll have more to say after I talk about this game, because I love to fucking talk. But I'm going to discuss my total hours played with the newest Call of Duty game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Which is confusing as hell, because there was already a game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that I played when I was a fucking child. They just are, they're just reusing everything with nostalgia attached to it and making it more improved. And I understand building a game takes forever, but it's almost lazy how much they've copied and pasted, reused maps, all this stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Modern Warfare 2 is still a damn good game. It's a lot of fun. I played 108 hours so far, and I last played it 5 days ago. But I've been playing more Cold War than Modern Warfare 2. I know that the stats don't show that, the hours played, but here lately, I've played maybe a couple of games on Modern Warfare 2, just testing out new maps. Whereas Call of Duty World at War, I'm just playing for fun and playing lots of matches in a row. And Call of Duty is one of those games that's super easy to do that with. You could just be chilling and be like, all right, I'm trying to hop on a game and instantly get into something. You're in a lobby within seconds, maybe minutes, and you're shooting away. And when you have this DualSense in your hand, when you pull the trigger and it is kicking back like a real gun's trigger would do, and when you aim down sights and it's heavy because you've got a light machine gun and it's hard to pull the trigger, it just feels so good. I mean, you will feel stuff in the controller like helicopter blades whirling around, and it feels like they're in your hands. You can feel the vibrations realistically. It's not an exaggeration oh, it has the rumble pack like the N64 had. This is advanced haptic feedback that feels crazy in your hands. And they've got it in the PSVR too. mind blowing. They've also got head haptics in that. I haven't even tried that yet. I'm sure playing that in Call of Duty, if Call of Duty ever makes a VR game on PSVR 2, it will explode in popularity and everyone will be in VR. That's what the catalyst is going to be. Because if you look at all of the games, Call of Duty, out of the ones that fit into the possibility to being played in VR, like you don't want to play World of Warcraft in VR. Like who the fuck would want to do that? You don't even want to play Diablo in VR. Like all this shit, games that are super popular and really good games, they're not built for VR. Call of Duty is probably the biggest franchise. Somebody could say that something is close with it, but I'm saying that Call of Duty is probably the biggest, and it is definitely the biggest one that could be great in VR. And, I hope that happens within the next couple of years. I hope we don't have to wait for PSVR 3 for that. Let's just say that. And once Apple's headset gets into people's hands, it's going to make more people talk about VR and AR, because that will support AR as well. But whenever they're thinking about VR, that's where the money is. So that means development will shift towards VR. We're not there yet, though. That's why I don't even have a VR. If I don't have a VR, VRs aren't popping yet. And I get it, they're cool. But they don't have a game anywhere near what Call of Duty is. There's plenty of first-person shooters you can try. I get that. They're probably really fucking fun. But Call of Duty would be more fun. So, out of all these Call of Duty games on this list, Cold War's at the top, Vanguard is at the bottom, and I barely remember Advanced Warfare. It's crazy how long I've been playing this game. I'm still not going to say it's my favorite game of all time, but it is my most played game of all time when you combine all the games together. I don't have any of my Xbox 360 era stats, but if I did, I would have put all of these hours that I played on PlayStation to shame. Like, it wouldn't even be close. One stat I'll give you that I haven't given you yet is that out of all of the PlayStation games that I just mentioned today, all the PlayStation Call of Duties, when you add up all the hours for all of them, I have played only a total of 1,067 hours of Call of Duty during the PlayStation era, PS4 and PS5. That to me is low. I understand that to a lot of people, 1,000 hours, wow, well, that's a lot. How in the world did you do that, buddy? That's only 44 and a half days. When you think about almost 10 years of playing, 44 days is nothing. There's 365 in a fucking year. I'm not going to start doing a bunch of math on you here off the top of my head, but, it's like that. And then if I had played Ghosts, that would probably be... I did play Ghosts, but if I had played it on PS4, I would probably have 100 hours on that, I'm guessing, because I was starting to fade out of playing a ton, because high school is when I played the most. Then college, I played a lot. But after that, once I got a job and shit, I just stopped playing quite as much as I was. But now these past couple of years, I'm back to the point where I could play a lot if I like to. And I do like to. But I also like to play so many other games. But if I had to go on record right here and say what my favorite Call of Duty game is of all time, not even talking about the fact that it was or wasn't on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. My favorite Call of Duty game ever is 100% hands down Call of Duty 2. And the reason for that is because it is the first one that I played online multiplayer with, and it changed my fucking life forever. I learned that you can make friendships online. You can have alternate personas online. You can dominate online and know for a fact that you're not just beating a fucking AI. You're really good at something. It's rewarding, and it was fucking crazy. Let's just say that I'll never forget any of that stuff. Those are some of the best gaming memories I have, is playing Call of Duty 2. Me and my brother sharing one Xbox 360. Those were good times. Life's still good, though. That's all I've got for you today. You could drop a comment and let me know which of these Call of Duty games you played the most. But for now, I'd say that's just about it, and I appreciate you watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. I'll be posting many more videos, and I'll catch you in another one very, very, very soon.